Hi guys, so 31 weeks pregnant. It's going very, very fast now and it's very, very scary. The time is speeding up and it is scary. So pregnancy has been scary for me from day one. Having children is just something I never thought would happen to me. And having chronic illness definitely restricted a lot of things that I could have considered as options for my life. You know, I haven't been able to travel, I'm not able to work anymore. There's so many things that chronic illness has impacted, and I fought it so hard for so long, and I pushed through and pushed through and pushed through, and unfortunately through my early 30s and now into my mid 30s it's only got worse. So having kids is just something I never really entertained because I felt like I wouldn't be able to offer them enough because I just don't have those physical reserves to give. And that's really, really frustrating because I am a very disciplined person, a very motivated person, a person that pushes through. I'm not a quitter. I have always been someone that just soldiers through and fights so hard to have a normal life. So to succumb to my body and finally admit, which pregnancy kind of forced me to do this, to admit that I am too sick to continue working and that things aren't getting better at the moment, and they haven't for many years. It has been a really, really big defeat, and I'm ashamed of it. I'm very ashamed of being sick because it's just not in my nature to give up. It's not in my nature to say things are too hard. And there are a lot of people with chronic illness that have this personality type. I mean, I'm more type A. I can push through anything. Nothing can stop me. Very determined person. Even though my life or my body or things may not necessarily show that, I do work really, really hard to maintain as normal life as I can and not just be bedbound, basically. And doing all of that with pregnancy has been so incredibly hard. I mean, there is no point of the day where I feel any slight peak in energy, where anything feels easier at the moment. It's just like this such constant battle against my own body with no energy, and it makes things very, very hard. I think it's gotten a lot worse in the third trimester. It's very, very frustrating. So yeah, it's really, really stressful dealing with all these health issues and pregnancy on top, and knowing that a baby is coming, and it's just like, it's very, very overwhelming. And I have been shopping till I drop online, and I hate shopping, and I especially all the sites are malfunctioning, I think, because we've been in such lockdown that the sites are overwhelmed or something, and they're all glitchy, and then it says access denied, and then it kicks everything out of my cart. It's just like been so difficult, and I'm not good with screens and scrolling because of the vertigo and fatigue and everything. So I have absolutely not liked shopping for the baby at all. I'm waiting on, I don't even know, like 20 big packages at this point. I bought too many clothes. I'm just trying to be so prepared. I want my hospital bag packed. I'm in that nesting mode, but it's a very anxious kind of mode. And yeah, I've probably bought things that I don't even need. I mean, the baby's measuring huge, so I'm like, I bought so many newborn clothes. Are they going to be too small? I bought newborn nappies. I bought like 3 bags. It's just, I feel like I'm wasting so much money. It's a human condition. When you're too sick to do anything, you're just too sick, and it makes everything so damn hard. And it's depressing and stressful. And that's where I'm at. In terms of being in the third trimester, I have noticed many changes. Oh, the acne. It just, you won't be able to see it on here, but my skin has just become like a grease ball. It's like it happened overnight. And I'm getting all these pimples on my nose and all over my forehead, and I never get acne here, and it's just all there. I've got all these brown skin tags that have suddenly popped up on my neck and all over my chest. My blood sugar has become a bit more of a problem, though I'm still managing it with diet. So in the end of this video, I'll show things I've been eating and everything like that. Obviously, it's not medical advice or nutritional advice. I am a naturopath and I studied nutrition for 9 years, but it's not clearly not meant to be advice. I don't have my health under control or anything like that. But you know, it can be really helpful to see other people's meal ideas. There's no one size fits all with gestational diabetes. You have to base everything off your numbers that you test 4 times a day. That's the only way to know what food works for you and what doesn't. But obviously there are basic rules to follow. Yeah, my blood pressure was always like 120/80, sometimes below that, and now it's always like just under 140/90 or just at that. So they don't want to medicate it yet, but it's just stress. Like, I don't need the thought of preeclampsia weighing on me, because I do have a tiny bit of protein in the urine, but not enough for them to be concerned about. Always the way with me. And obviously, if my blood glucose levels become less controlled over the next few weeks, as they tend to do for a lot of people, because gestational diabetes, your body's need for insulin increases as you get 30, 32, 34, 36 weeks and at birth. So when you have gestational diabetes, you're just not producing enough of that insulin. So to cover that peak that naturally happens for everybody, that increase in insulin demand happens to every pregnant person, but people with gestational diabetes are just not producing enough to manage that peak. So I may need insulin for that as well, I don't know. And then I have no idea what's going to be happening with birth, like induction, C-section, I have no idea. My baby's measuring 97th percentile. I can't do anything to calm my stress. I can't eat, I'm craving like lemon meringue pie, and I can't eat that because I've got gestational diabetes. Like, I'm so restricted. It's just, pregnancy, I'm pretty over it at this point. Excuse all the laundry on the floor in the background. So this is how I'm looking. I'm looking very big. And what I noticed the last week, I had about a week and a half ago, I still had a waist. So I went in here, like, if I suck my stomach in, no, it's still pretty much gone. I still had a waist. And then it just disappeared because I'm like bulging out here now, like can you see it? Like, I'm bulging there. It's like starting to grow outwards, which I kind of wasn't anticipating. I was more used to it just getting bigger and bigger from the side. But then, yeah. And then pretty much when I go to the front, I looked pretty normal, but not anymore. It's just like a big bowling ball has replaced whatever tiny bit of shape I had before. So yeah, that's the bump. 31 weeks. They said I'm measuring 2 weeks ahead with my fundal height stuff, so. And yeah, I haven't gained any weight during my pregnancy. That's a combination of having very severe nausea in the first trimester, and then just, I don't know, I just still haven't gained anything. Because I started off overweight, I don't necessarily need to gain much, but I just think the baby's taking everything from me. And it's all just ended up here because I look smaller a bit, but belly is huge. And it's rock hard, like, I don't know if that shows, it doesn't jiggle like. Hello baby, hello baby. Hello baby, hello baby. So yeah, if you want to see what I've been eating to manage my gestational diabetes, then keep watching. So the first thing I do every morning is check my blood glucose levels, because you need your fasting level as soon as you wake up. So mine's been really good this week. It's not perfect. I've got a lancet where you don't have to, it's got 6 lancets in every cartridge, so you just flip it. I won't show any blood, but I'll just show myself doing this. You won't see anything. And then put the end of the strip so that it pulls in some like so. Yeah, so that's like just under what it should be. Having a smoothie for breakfast, lots of fruit and veggies in there, sort of half and half. And Dan's supposed to be at work right now, but our house started flooding from the fish tank. Dan let me know that the fish tank had just cracked and water was going everywhere. Grabbing towels, and then I quickly grabbed the siphon and started emptying all the water into the bucket. I had to grab the NutriBullet thing, you know, that I drink out of, and catch all the fish in it. Like, so long as they're together, they're okay with changes. Yeah, I think we're gonna put them in the basement, even though that makes me kind of sad. Did I mention we've got no kitchen sink right now because Dan's fixing mold? We got the last fish tank at the store. A couple were measuring it and saying, oh, we think we want this one. And Dan was like, I'll take that one. And he said, oh yeah, that's the last one of those left. We're like, oh my gosh, because we have to have that size for the stand we already have. The fish are still alive. Bloody goldfish ruling my life. The tank looks a bit bare and miserable at the moment, but they survived. So I have to start getting stricter with my diet, which is the last thing I'm in the mood to do, because I still have aversions and I still have cravings, and all of my cravings are for sweet, light, carby things, because I still have some nausea and I don't want to eat heavy, protein-rich things, and I'm in pain with my back and my hips, and I feel dizzy and nauseous and exhausted all of the time. I feel so overwhelmed. We're so restricted. I've had to give everything up, at all my vices, anything that I used to cope, and now food is the last thing. I have to give up what I feel like eating and restrict everything I eat and feel guilty for everything I eat and test my blood sugars like 6 times a day, and, you know, wait for that number to pop up on the screen to say whether I'm a complete failure or not, which I know it's not. You know, it's not necessarily me, it's the placenta. Gestational diabetes is not the same as regular diabetes, but at the same time, you know, I don't think that this would have happened if I wasn't obese and metabolically challenged before pregnancy. Anyway, I'm having some porridge with no sweetness in it whatsoever. It's just oatmeal, chia seeds, hemp powder, you know, added psyllium husk, just bleh, and 2 boiled eggs. Alrighty, I'm just having a taco bowl. There's a little bit of crushed corn chips down at the bottom, but it's mostly meat and salads and yogurt on top and guacamole. So my protein pancakes look a bit ugly today, but that's because they've got no flour in them. So they're kind of a texture that sticks easily to the pan. That's some hazelnut and cacao spread on top, and strawberries, a little bit of sugar-free syrup. And the pancakes are made with 2 eggs, protein powder, a little bit of milk, and 1 banana. So lower GI, won't spike my sugars. I'm craving desserts so bad, so this is what I came up with. This is one of my favorite snacks to have. It doesn't look fancy or good for a photo, but just 2 whole grain Ryvitas with cream cheese, cucumber, red onion, tomato, tons of avocado. I'm making some steak. And I already cooked the cheesy cauliflower and broccoli. I burnt it like a little bit, but it'll still taste good. Having a smoothie as usual. I just want to also mention I don't really discuss drinks that I have that much, except for obviously smoothies, and I drink plenty of water, but I do get really, really strong sugar cravings that I never had before pregnancy. But yeah, with the gestational diabetes, it is intense. So I tend to manage it with fruit smoothies. That's why I have them all the time. They're really, really satisfying because most people with gestational diabetes find they can handle a fair amount of fruit because it is a whole food. It contains lots of fiber. It's primarily fructose, so it just works in your body differently to other kinds of carbs. It's technically not artificial sweetener because it's stevia and erythritol, but I try to avoid, because you're not going to find that in nature typically, so I tend to try and avoid having too much of this. But when I get those cravings for juice or cordial, I just have like a quarter to half a cup of this and then dilute it with water as if it's cordial, and it just takes the edge off those cravings. So it's just erythritol and stevia as the flavoring. I'm not saying it's a health food or anything, but I think it's a much better option than those drinks that have like aspartame and all that kind of stuff in it, Splenda. I could never sleep through that. I didn't actually plan on recording this because, I just chucked it on the plate, didn't care about presentation. It's just like Moroccan style meatballs with veggies and tons of seasonings in them, and wholemeal couscous with zucchini, carrot, red onion, fried in a bit of olive oil first, and then add the couscous and just some garlic. Like in the couscous and in the meatballs, there's like garlic, cumin, smoked paprika, bit of garam masala. I'm just making some pasta for dinner. I've got broccoli, carrot and red onion cooking in a bit of a creamy sauce. All the sauces at the moment was just like a bit over a teaspoon of butter, a little bit of flour, like a couple of teaspoons, mix that together like a really basic quick cheats roux, and then like a cup of milk, and just mix it till it heats up and it goes like that, and like a teaspoon of chicken stock. And that's, if I only had that, I would just make more of that base and then add some parmesan. But I also found this in the fridge that Dan got. I think he was trying to get regular Philadelphia, but he accidentally got this one, and I'm like, oh, I'll try it. And the pasta is lentil pasta. It's this one. So it's much higher protein and fiber than regular pasta. So that's it. It smells and tastes exactly like a carbonara, like a vegetarian broccoli Alfredo type of thing. It's just so fast to cook. And when you've got those cravings like mac and cheese, you're just craving carbs and you're trying to watch your blood sugar, the lentil pasta is such a good option for that.